Hello and welcome to the second week of phase 2 of the 10-minute drawing challenge. So I'm drawing a prompt every day for 7 days, 10 minutes each day. That was the first 10-minute drawing. This is the second 70-minute drawing. You're about to see how it comes together. Now, if you haven't been following this challenge, I'll quickly recap. In the month of January, I drew 31 prompts suggested by Instagram followers. Each day was a 10-minute drawing. You're currently watching the original 10-minute drawing video, which I put up in weekly installments. If you'd like to check those out, I'll put them in a playlist, which I'll put at the end of the video. Now, the whole idea of the series was to prove the point that you can do a drawing in just 10 minutes. You can see me here creating away. Now, the prompt for this particular drawing was Fog by Artsy Pineapple, who you can find here on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description box below to her channel. This was the original 10-minute drawing that I did, and now you're about to see the longer version day by day. Now, in last week's challenge video, I used exactly the same materials as I did in the original 10-minute drawing. I varied things slightly in this particular instance because I didn't have another piece of paper exactly the same colour. So this paper, you will notice, is a little bit warmer. It's still a toned piece of pastel paper and has the same texture, the same size, but it's just not quite the same colour. Now, the materials that I'm using in this drawing are some soft charcoal, a kneaded eraser. I'm also going to be using some compressed charcoal, a charcoal pencil, and I'm going to have a little bit of white pastel over the top as well. That's all the materials that I'll use, and I'll be blending mainly with my fingers throughout the drawing. And as always, if you're going to blend with your fingers, make sure that you keep your hands clean all the time. That's really important. So I've just spent the first 10 minutes of this drawing really just figuring out where I want things to sit. I don't have a whole lot of time to spend agonising over the exact placement of everything, but we can get the rough lines marked out, and that's the first session done. Now, on the second day, I'm going to start off by using the charcoal pencil and start marking in the trees along the middle of the drawing. Now, the very first layer that I put down on the previous day was all soft willow charcoal. Now, the willow charcoal is a very gentle and smooth type of a finish. It doesn't give the hard, sharp lines. This pencil that I'm using is going to give me a much sharper and harder dark. So I'm only going to press very lightly to start with because I may need to move some things if I'm not happy with where they go. When drawing trees, I always start by drawing in the main features of the trunk and the main branches that I can see, and then I start looking for the shapes of the leaves and the areas that get attached to it. It's all kept as very simple shapes in the beginning, and we can draw more detail in later once we make sure we have everything exactly where we want it to be. Now, if you compare with the drawing in the top left, the original drawing, you'll notice that I've moved the trees over a little bit. I wanted to move these a little bit further to the right in this drawing. This is to help balance that large main tree on the left-hand side. If it's too close to the edge, it feels like the composition is too heavy on that side. Now, the third day I'm going to spend really just continuing to build on that tree line across the middle of the drawing. This is one of the main features in the drawing and what actually attracted me to the scene in the first place. Now, trees have a great amount of character in my opinion, and particularly once they get a bit older, and that's the case with the trees in this drawing. It was a line of willow trees and gum trees that follow a creek line. It creates a contour through the drawing, and that adds another element of interest. It creates a sense of change in a landscape if you put something that's a little bit more diagonal rather than just a purely straight flat line. What I really like about these trees is all the different twists and turns that you get to see in the branches. And while I could only draw that in very roughly and loosely in the original drawing, here I have time to actually explore and build real character into these. Now, we've made it through to day 4 already, and I haven't even put any fog into the drawing yet. Considering the fog is the whole idea of the drawing, I better get onto that pretty quickly. But first, just to help balance this drawing a little bit more and create another level of depth in the drawing, I want to build on the earth in the foreground. Now, this is actually from a picture taken during drought time where there was very little grass and there was this beautiful dark soil in the foreground of the drawing, which also helps create a great sense of depth. I got offered a job studying fog once. I turned it down, but looking back, I think it was a missed opportunity. I'm now using the eraser to pull some of the areas back out of the background where I want to put the fog in. This is going to help me if I'm not blending and mixing the charcoal and the white pastel that I'm going to use to draw in the fog very shortly. I want to keep the fog fairly pure in its white colour because that will really help me recreate the effect of the morning sunlight bouncing off. Now, someone asked me the other day, what's a bigamist? And I told them, it's what Italians call a big fog. Now just a reminder, each of these days is simply one quick 10-minute session that I do first thing in the morning. I don't come back and work on the drawing again through the day. I don't look at it. I don't even think about it. I just move on with my life. Phase 1 of this challenge was really just to show you what you can do with 10 minutes if you want to do something different every day. What I hope to show you with Phase 2 is what you can achieve if you keep your focus on for a little bit longer, but you still don't need much time. 10 minutes a day is still all you need to get your drawing done. Now if you're enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit the like button. That helps me out so much and it will just make my day. Thank you so much. Now with the fog placed in the drawing with the white pastel, that's put a lot of blurring across all of the other detail that I had already drawn in. So now I've got to come back over the top with my charcoal pencil and just tidy that up and make it strong and contrast again. Now the contrast between the dark trees and the light fog is what's going to make this really exciting as a drawing. Now just one thing of note, I didn't actually feel very well at all for the last couple of days that I did this drawing. But I'd set myself a challenge and I was determined that I was going to keep going and get the drawing done. Now the fact that I was only committing to 10 minutes and I only needed to be able to focus and find energy for that amount of time made it so much easier for me to be able to commit to that and get it done. It's really important in life, as an artist or in any other area, that you commit and you do what you say you're going to do. And if you want to build an art career, that's going to be absolutely essential. You need to be able to take positive action. What do you call a negative fog? A pessimist. Now you'll notice that every single time we add something to the drawing, it changes the balance. When I added the dark trees, it changed the balance. When I added the fog, it changed the balance. Now I'm adding some more grass and some different textures into the foreground, and again it changes the balance. And I've got the opportunity to be able to do a lot more things in this longer version of the drawing than I could in the original 10-minute one. Okay, so it's crunch time. Will I be able to make this drawing pop on the final 10 minutes, or will I make it crash and burn? You'll have to watch the next minute to see. With only 10 minutes, there's no time for any additional major changes. It's all just little tweaks and balances now. Adding more details into the foreground will help make that a little bit sharper and clearer and will bring it forward in the space. Doing the same with the tree line, but keeping it a little bit more vague and a little bit less sharp, will help keep that firmly grounded in the midsection of the drawing. Every small correction that I make is going to change the balance a little bit. And normally what I would recommend to people is that you get back and have a look and really check on what you're doing. But with only a 10-minute time frame, I'm breaking my own rule and I'm just forging on ahead and just continuing to adjust and try to make this picture finished. In life, things often aren't perfect and you just have to be able to make the best of it. As I work through each layer of the drawing, progressively closer to the top, I want each layer to be slightly less defined than the one in front of it. But I'm out of time and that's it. That is 7 10-minute sessions. What do you think? Did I improve on the original drawing? Did I achieve something? Is it a nice drawing to look at? What do you think? Tell me, let me know in the comments below. I love hearing what you have to say. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. The next challenge recap video will be out next week, so don't miss out. And finally, if you would like any helpful drawing resources in your life, visit www.justindwyerartistry.art. I have plenty of articles and videos there to help. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.